We are live.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of StoryHive on location in Vancouver with Beats, Eats, and more. Oh yeah, gusto. Let's go. We're broadcasting live right now on the unceded ancestral lands of the Musqueam, the Tsleil-Waututh, and Squamish First Nations. Yo, big shout outs to TELUS STORYHIVE for powering today's episode. I'm your host, Kazi, and today my guest is Steffanie Love, who is an award-winning producer, public art project manager, and arts advocate. Steff supports artist-led work rooted in intersectionality, mindfulness, and impact, helping creatives streamline their businesses so their visions can thrive. She's co-owner of Opal Projects, Inc., Astro Club Artist Facility, and co-founder of Astro Arts Festival, with deep experience bringing large-scale public art to life across Vancouver. Welcome, Steff.
Thank you for having me.
It is cold. We're on the street corner, but we're outside of Astro Club Artist Facility, and we're about to get a little bit of a tour and then also talk with Steff and get to know a bit more about them and their work.
All right, let's go. Come on in.
So this whole building came about when exactly?
Well, when we signed the lease for the building back in February 2024. Mm-hmm. And then we started construction on it in order to make it an artist studio, because before it was set up for a print shop. And we were going to finish in May, but unfortunately the city shut us down for about 7 months. We were buried under bureaucracy for a while, but we came out from it and had our grand opening on November 2024.
Okay, so it's been about a year now then.
Yeah, a little over a year.
Okay, and then what goes down in this space?
Oh, we have all kinds of creatives. We've got a barber, tattoo artists, we have photographers, videographers. We even have a development company that moves homes to communities that need them.
That is so cool.
It's incredible what they do. And so they see the vision, we all see the vision of like having a creative community around us.
And how did you get involved with this space? How did that first come about?
Well, my business partner is an artist, Drew Young. Mm-hmm.
Shout outs to Drew.
Yeah, big shout out to Drew. This couldn't happen without him and his vision. And we saw that the print shop was moving out of this building, and he called me and was like, hey, do you want to come for a tour? And I was like, sure. And he's like, what do you think about making this an art studio? And I am not an artist, but I would like to think of myself as an arts facilitator. Mm-hmm. And so I ran the budget and we decided to press play, and now here we are.
So how many studios exist in this space so far?
In this space, we have about, I want to say 60.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then this space right here is like the gallery space?
It's a gallery space, and then during the summer we can lift open this garage door to the street, and then we have a photo studio space as well that artists can take photos. Photographers use this as well for photography space.
What a dream.
Yeah,
I was saying earlier on the stream, we did an interview with CL, which was super awesome. Y'all got to check it out. That we recently reconnected because you hosted a little bit of a holiday market here.
Yes.
And that's where I was like, oh my gosh, I need to have Steff and CL on the show and chat with you both about art, but also about this incredible space.
Yeah, it's an amazing way to bring an otherwise like very isolated community together.
We're about to also meet little furry friend named Twiggy. Yeah, Twigsters! Oh, go. Come on, Twigs. Hey, yeah, buddy. Aw. Well, thank you so much for that mini tour. There was also a whole other floor upstairs, and then there was another like kind of connected to space. That's where we were with CL.
Yeah.
But upstairs there were offices and desks. Yeah. And kind of like
open studios.
Yeah, open studios, and then a whole like co-working kitchen.
Yeah, we got a boardroom up there, a Zoom booth, and so we understand that being an artist is also being a business, and so we wanted to put about 25% of our square footage towards facilitating the business aspect of being an artist. Yeah.
That's super cool. Well, Steff and I, we actually first met because we both worked for a non-for-profit together, Vancouver Mural Festival. And back then, you were the operations manager.
Yeah.
I was one of the programming coordinators, coordinating a lot of the programming and the performances, the different things that we would have that was part of the festival. And I would love to know, how did you first get into production and operations and project management? And what made you want to apply those skills into the arts world?
Oh, that's a really great question. I am originally from Alberta, and I resisted for a really long time, but I ended up being in oil and gas.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me about this.
And so I did operations and project management in that like very corporate capacity for several years. And I wasn't necessarily values aligned with extraction industry. But I learned a lot. But a good friend of mine is one of the founders of Vancouver Mural Festival, and I just so happened to run into him with Adrian, actually.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hey, you should come work for the festival." And I was visiting Vancouver at the time, and I was like, "No, I don't know if I would really do that because I like live in Edmonton." But as things happened, I ended up coming out here to meet the team, and I decided that it was like more aligned with who I was, and here we are.
That
now.
was like what, 2020?
2019.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, because we didn't meet officially until I think 2022. Was it?
Yeah, maybe.
You don't
I
remember?
have a really bad memory.
Yeah.
So.
You're like, anything pre-COVID especially?
Yeah. When did you start programming with VMF?
I mean, I was brought back in 2022.
Then it would have been 2022.
And I was living in Mexico, but I've been involved with VMF at that time since like 2016 or 17.
Okay.
But I was doing the 4 elements of hip hop, which is part of like the street party that happened pre-COVID, when it would just be like one day and they would shut down Main Street and then the alleyway. Do you remember that?
I don't know if I was around for that.
Yeah, I think 2019 would have been the last one of 4 elements of hip hop that I did.
I would have just missed it then.
Yeah, it was 4 years in a row I had done it. 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. Oh man, also my memory foggy.
Why did you stop doing that?
Because COVID happened.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And then it shifted where we didn't have just that block party anymore. Like, I think when Nick became the program or the event manager, then the festival moved from just like one day to like multiple days. So when I came back in 2022, I was living in Mexico at the time, and Finn was the programming coordinator, and they needed help.
Yeah.
And so they asked me if I wanted to come throw Deep from the Underground, which is a party that I used to do with G-Love.
Yeah.
And originally I was just supposed to do the after party, but then it turned into like me supporting Finn with the execution of the 11-day festival.
Oh, dang.
It went from 1 day to 11 days. That's so crazy.
Times 10x that.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, especially in the city of Vancouver that we live in, why do you think it's important to be an arts advocate, especially coming from also your previous working background?
Yeah, I mean, the arts is, we see and view and use and benefit from the arts every day. Everybody does. But like there is some misalignment there, and we can kind of see it in like the ways in which we invest like publicly, like our public funding. Right now, there's a lot of talk about municipal budgeting. And so I think it's important to be an arts advocate, because not all, like, artists are consumed with their art, and that's how it should be. And so we need people who are looking at the systems in which they operate in so that they can continue to do that. And also like artist brains, and that's another reason why I'm in the business of art, is to like help artists thrive within the system that we currently are in, because my background is business. And so in order for artist spaces to be affordable in the city, to keep artists in the city, there needs to be art advocacy outside of just artists fighting for their space here to be able to create. And so that's just like a small part of it, of why it's important.
I love that.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you next, like, what does mindfulness and impact mean to you in the artist-led work that you support?
I think mindfulness, impact, it all affects like the legacy and the culture of the place that we're in. And so the importance of all of that to me is to like instill and to remind people of how much we actually do value art and like how beauty is valuable. And outside of like the capitalistic value of things, the value of art and beauty and creation is all part of like what makes life interesting and what makes Vancouver beautiful.
I agree.
Yeah.
I love that you're touching upon all of this because one thing you had said is just like art impacts us every day.
Yeah.
And we don't even realize it. And in the society that we live in an unequitable world where for, you know, the value that art brings, even the healing that art can bring to people, it's like, why is it then we have, you know, some occupations getting paid 6 figures when also art has this ability to also heal and change lives and impact and support people in such profound and deeply meaningful ways. And so, you know, at least in this reality that we have to exist in, how can we make it more fair and even out, you know?
That is a great question. I mean, what is left of a civilization when it no longer exists? It's the art. Like you think of all those like ancient civilizations, like the museums that we visit, like that is what's left, is the art.
The artifacts that end up getting collected and
like the
it's
pottery, the cave paintings, like that is what we can glean from how people lived back then, and this is how we're living now. And so where we invest our money and our attention is what will be our legacy of civilization for the future.
Whoa, I didn't even think about that. Especially like in the digital world that we live in, like what are they going to excavate and find?
Yeah, I mean
about
that'll be
us?
Interesting because we like don't own anything anymore. Like all of the creative intellectual property is owned by large corporations. They're able to monetize it and to turn a profit on it. And like a conundrum that I've been really thinking about a lot and with other people who are in the industry and outside of the industry is how can we get away or at least like build a system where creators can create what they want to create without it having to serve the purpose of profit. Because what happens is that if an artist is creating art in order to sell the art, it's not that it's tainted, but it's directed by whoever is paying for it.
Yes.
And so this happens with murals as well. So if a mural is commissioned by a client, the client has the directive, the creative direction. Like there's a style, of course, that the artist brings, and it's incredibly valuable. But ultimately, the client gets to decide what that artist is going to be creating. And so if that is all that is out in the world is just whatever businesses want, which is really to sell things, then what is left for the artist who just need to create for the sake of creation? And so how do we support that? Because it doesn't really work in the system that we're in right now, and that's why public funding is really important, which is like dwindling as we speak. But yeah, it's a challenge.
Do you feel like you've come closer to any sort of like steps towards a solution in that or approach even?
Not really. Like the Mural Festival was really important because they were able to utilize public funding and sponsorship in order for artists to create what they want. And that's part of why Vancouver is so beautiful. like if every business owner got a say in like what, not to say that that's not valuable, but in what all of the murals that are going up on their walls were, then we would have a very different mural landscape in Vancouver. It would all just kind of be advertising.
That is where the line blurs, huh?
Yeah. And so I'm grateful to the city of Vancouver for that like any mural that gets a mural permit that goes up, it cannot have any elements of advertising for the tenant inside.
Cool. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
But they can speak to the themes of the neighborhood and the community, but not the corporate interest or the capitalist interest.
Yeah. It cannot be advertising. Otherwise, that's a different permit.
Oh, permits.
But it is protecting art. And so I'm glad that somebody had the foresight to instill that into their permitting system.
In your understanding and expertise, you sit at the intersection of creativity and operations. What do most artists misunderstand about the business side of their work, do you think?
That is a really good question. And because I'm not, I mean, okay, so when I started at the Mural Festival, there are a lot of business systems that are foreign to anyone who isn't interacting with them very often, such as like you need a purchase order. What's a purchase order? You know, anyone would have that question if they've never done it before. An invoice. Why do I need an invoice? Why don't you just send me money? Right? Yeah. And so like the systems behind that are all like accounting. They're super corporate and like kind of very pie in the sky if like you're not in that world. And so there are a lot of things from an operational standpoint that artists might not be familiar with or find challenging. Maybe the most challenging thing are contracts.
Yes.
And those contracts...
Oh, we've talked about this.
They're super important because that's how you protect yourself.
Yes.
And how to understand how the client is trying to protect themselves in relation to your work. And so like understanding the language in those contracts can be pretty difficult sometimes. And we talked about this for several different
reasons. And Steff has supported with getting contracts drafted up, also answering my many questions around it. And actually, I think this is very on topic because this part of like protecting yourself, but also understanding this language, and that like we sign a bunch of things we don't actually read, y'all.
Yeah.
You know?
Every single app you download, those terms of service
is a contract.
It's a contract. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you click in that yes box, but I was explaining to you that, you know, ChatGPT makes it easier for you to just like literally copy paste if you don't understand what it's trying to tell you, and it can translate for you, which, you know, I had done that for a few contracts and realized like, oh, snap. Like if this scenario happened or this scenario happened, I would be on my own left to literally financially pay for the consequences of things happening. And so, what do you think that, you know, every artist should look out for within a contract, or at least have for themselves within a contract, if they don't know this already?
I think that tool is very important to be able to like have someone, or you can also use AI, or you can reach out to me, and I also do contract review because there are a lot of things in there, and typically if it's coming from a client, their interest is to protect themselves. But the biggest thing I would say as a creator is to look for intellectual property rights, copyright, and understanding copyright law in Canada. And so
that you're owning your stuff at the end of the day.
And if you're not, you understand that has value and you have to be paid for that.
More.
Because there are clients who do want to do a full buyout, but they don't want to pay for it. And so you need to understand like what it says in the contract, what they're asking for, and like what you should be entitled to.
Genius. No, actually though, me and Rita Spirit, shout outs to Rita, we've been talking about how we want to have a conversation, especially for dancers, around contracts and protections and stuff like that. And when we do this panel talk, You are definitely sitting on this bathtub.
Sure. Insurance, that's another really important one.
Explain.
So there are things that you can do to protect yourself, such as get yourself insurance. There are different types of insurances. Usually what artists get is liability.
Right.
And generally it doesn't protect like you, human person. It protects you if somebody else is harmed by your work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so if somebody like, let's say you own your work and it's offensive to your client so your client had commissioned it and like one of their customers found it really offensive. And then they were like, well, the artist made it, so you should go after them. They could sue you. But your insurance will cover that.
Okay.
So that's one type of liability insurance. And
Right.
there's different kinds. Because if you're a photographer, you should probably get insurance for your gear.
Yes.
If you drive a lot, we have car insurance.
Yes.
Yeah, and so there are insurances for artists as well.
This is important.
There's fraud, there's IP, there's all kinds of stuff.
This panel needs to happen with you, Steff. For real, for real. Yeah, and if you're a dancer, it's your body on the line.
Yeah, and that's
You know?
a totally different kind of insurance. Yeah.
This is good.
WorkSafe BC.
This is interesting too because you work kind of like a bridge between if it's the client, the artist, developers, especially when it comes to like public art stuff. How do you protect an artist's vision while also working with municipalities and developers and funders? You know, being that bridge.
Yeah. So because my work is more operational and I protect like them as a person in a business, the person who protects the creative portion of it is actually my co-creator, Drew. And so he is an excellent curator, and he is the one who has to navigate those very tricky landscapes of like clients want one thing but doesn't want to compromise the vision of the artist. And so maybe you should talk to Drew
About that.
It's a
Yeah.
really good question, and it's certainly a skill that you have to like understand where to give and where to take. Yeah.
That's interesting. And
Yeah.
a really, like, I guess something you'd have to master as a skill of negotiations, eh?
Yeah, or you have to know how to talk to certain people in a certain way to get your point across or to help them understand each other. But for the most part, if a client chooses an artist because of a certain style, the subject matter of it and the direction is just like, dotting the I's. So it's not too much of a challenge, but sometimes it can be.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the artist has already put out essentially kind of like what is their style or brand, and that like
Yeah.
the client hiring them kind of already knows what they're getting into.
Yeah.
Do you mean to say?
So for example, if we have a client who's looking to get a mural done, we'll ask them like, what kind of vibe do you want? And they'll be like, oh, well, we like this type of thing, or we want bright poppy color, or we want something really like realistic or moody. And so we have something to work off of. And so what Drew will do is he'll go into his catalog of thousands of artists and he'll choose like 5, put together a deck, and he'll have sample works. And then from those sample works, that's where
Gets narrowed down.
the client will choose from that. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that makes it so things are easier down the road and everybody gets what they want.
What do you find the most rewarding aspect of the work you get to do?
Community. Building and creating community, I guess that's the way that I create, is by having this space in order for people to come to. Space is very limited in Vancouver.
It's true.
Especially for creative spaces. And for everybody here to understand like the vision and to all be creating and everyone's just like really nice. Like I love coming here every day, and I do literally come here every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is probably the most rewarding part.
That's so cool. This is an entire ecosystem here. And it's funny. My next question for you is like, what problem were you trying to solve when creating Astro Club?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a problem that continues to get bigger in Vancouver, and not only for the creative industry, but for everyone, is that we are losing artists. because they're moving, because of affordability, because there are less and less spaces. Because a lot of artist spaces in Vancouver are actually in buildings that are set for demolition.
Yeah.
Because they need to be low cost. And so property owners are sitting on these empty buildings, and if they are generous enough to be able to rent them out to artists, it'll be at low cost. But the problem with that is that they disappear. And a lot of them have been disappearing. I mean, look at the motel. The motel, like
the City Center Artist Lodge, for anyone who doesn't know.
Yes. And that will be replaced with a building which will have 4,000 square feet of artist space, which pales in comparison to what it was right now. And so that kind of is happening all over the city. And so starting Astro, we're kind of in the same position. We have a little bit of control because we own the lease, but if the building is sold, then we don't know. Everything that we've built here, we would need to go somewhere else. So, so I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
What does that look like to try to, I guess, move towards something more permanent? Like, what does the city need?
You have to dream big. You have to understand how systems work. You have to look higher and bigger and networking. And by networking, what I really mean is relationships really matter to find the people who are aligned with those values and see the value of what we're trying to do here, not only just here in this ecosystem, but for the city.
Yeah.
Working with politicians, because everything starts at a policy level. And that's a big part of my advocacy is speaking with people who run policy, people who work at the city. All of those things are how art spaces could potentially benefit or stay alive.
I'm curious if you've traveled to other places where you've seen them as model cities of doing it well and that you take inspiration from.
I mean, look at France.
Okay.
They have a basic income for artists. What
Okay.
What a
I
dream.
didn't know this.
What a dream. Oh, and then
Wow.
I think, where is it? Was it Sweden? No, it was Ireland, actually. Ireland just piloted a program for basic income for artists, and it was very successful. So that artists could create. And so, if I am in a federal level of arts advocacy, then that would be something I could advocate for. It's just difficult when there is such prominent need for basic needs. When we have the downtown east side, having a basic income for artists is a tough ask. And so maybe reframing it is how I can navigate that, but it's also important. I think all of these things need to be done simultaneously because there are other advocates as well for other things, but
It's true. When you don't have to worry about working 3 different jobs and gigs just so that you could afford rent and food on the table, which is also increasing in costs.
All of it, everything.
Then you're able to actually have the energy and time to create.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it.
That's
it. I really feel for that. It's a sentiment that I think feels kind of dark right now in what we're living in,
Yeah.
and the political climate that we're living in, and which is why I think leaning on the community that does exist here and that is here to buckle down for it,
Yeah.
And I love that you describe this space as not just an artist studio space, but it's an ecosystem. Can you explain how does that ecosystem work exactly, and why would you use that term?
Yeah, I think actually you were the one who said ecosystem.
Back then, or
No, just
today?
right now. Today.
Oh, I swear I read it on your website.
Oh, maybe. So the ecosystem, well, the festival actually comes into that.
Okay, yes.
So the festival, we have muralists and creatives doing things for the festival, and we've got the public engaging with this community that otherwise might not engage with, like the general public. And people are really excited about it.
Yes.
And
Sorry, backtrack for anyone who doesn't know about Astro Arts Festival.
Astro Arts Festival.
Yes.
So with the unfortunate ending of Vancouver Mural Festival, we understood that it was a very important like visual arts festival that needed to continue. And so we are carrying the torch, essentially. In like a smaller way, but in a way that is actually artist-led.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the artists here are muralists. And so we understood the importance of that, and also for something for the artists to look forward to engage with the public. And so we have the festival, and so we have the stakeholders, which are the artists, the public, and also the sponsors. And so we have like on a corporate level, people engaging with the arts. And so Drew and I, we are basically like pulling all those people together into this festival. And so that's one important part of it. And so this like attention is important to like the sphere of Vancouver valuing art, because like, you know, that whole no fun Vancouver, whatever. I
long ago.
I just never understood it.
Yeah.
I just never understood it because there's so much to do in Vancouver. So many people like me are doing what we're doing. Not exactly, but like in their own spheres.
Yeah.
And so that's important so that people are engaged. And then we, of course, have this facility here to like, of course, have the community of artists, and so that artists can create in here. But in order for them to create, they need to get jobs. And so those eyes that come from the festival also come onto our artists. And so that's how they also get work. And if they have work, then they also rent from the studio and can continue to be part of this. And so that is like the economy of it. And that's like kind of the ecosystem. And then like within the cultural ecosystem, we just have a lot of working full-time artists. And there's not a lot of them left. Who are here, who can convene with each other and talk about what they do, like what kind of paint are you using, or what kind of like material is this, or like what are you doing for contract review, what are you doing for your taxes, and they get to chat with each other every day.
Resource share.
So, yes, exactly.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I miss being part of a
you
studio.
You should come and do your monthly bookkeeping with us.
Yeah, this is something we've been talking about.
I did start it after you talked about it.
Did you?
Every first of every month, I just do bookkeeping. Yeah. Like up in the painting salon, and whoever wants to join me can join me.
Oh my gosh, I definitely need to join. I had a lovely meeting with like an accountant / business coach yesterday. Actually. Nice. And, you know, just want to get a head start on my taxes and just being more grown about this.
Yeah. What did they suggest?
Well, actually, shout out to this man, Ryan, because I thought I was just going to talk to somebody about like best practices, software I can use, like how GST things, blah, blah, blah. But then he ended up really kind of like, because I just graduated from my 10-month experience design program. I'm an experienced designer.
Congrats.
And he ended up asking me like, well, what do you want to create? Like he started coaching me like low key. He was like, well, what do you want to create? How much money do you want to make? Like, okay, from there you can figure out how many events you need to book, how many clients you need, and charge them X amount in order for you to reach that goal. And I was like, oh my God.
Life budgeting.
Yeah. But what's funny is that I never saw it in that way, where it was like, here's the target, so therefore I need to have this for the coming year of what I'm going to hit in order to reach that number. I had been approaching it more like, let's just hope I get hired more, you know, like, let's just hope. And I'm like, actually, no, that actually makes way more sense. So then I know exactly where I'm directing my efforts. Yes. You know? Yeah. It's so funny. You're asking me this. I feel like I'm also low-key getting coached by you right now.
Oh, no.
Side of things.
No, it's good.
Yeah. But anyway, I appreciated that he said that. And then he also was like supporting me with ideas around, because one of the things I shared was like, I really would love to be consulting and designing experiences and working with, like, may it be music artists or working with brands and like their goods and products and services of how can they, essentially it's like experiential marketing, right? Like how can they create experiences through that product or their art or their music. And he was just like, okay, so those are the kinds of clients. I was like, yeah, I just don't have a lot of experience set with that. And then he's like, okay, well then you got to create your client. And I was like, what? And he was just like, yeah, literally think about who's the kind of client you want and create that client. Maybe that's starting off with your friends, starting off with their brands, and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, this man is more than GST right now. Like, actually.
That's great.
Yeah. And I really love that. It gave me a new framework now of essentially how I'm going to approach this, like, I guess, reframe of my own business. And
He sounds like a business consultant.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Business consultant who has a specialty within small businesses, like Canadian small businesses, and knows a lot about different like loans and funding that you can apply for to support and build up your small business. So that was really cool. And I had no idea. I literally just thought he was your good old classic chartered accountant.
Yeah. He's got resources.
Yeah.
That's great.
And wants to help and has ideas, you know?
Okay.
Anyway.
You should connect all of us.
Yeah, actually. And I think he has a creative mind as well. And that is what's so random to me, you know? Or
Yeah, there's not a lot of creative accountants out there.
this is what I'm saying. And can get creative with that. But, you know, all the stuff around bookkeeping. Actually, I wanted to ask you right now, like, what do you think is like a best practice for bookkeeping that artists especially should implement now if they don't have this in their practice already?
I'm going to give you some best practices.
Yes.
Here we go.
Let's go.
So it's super important that you have a record of everything. I think that if you have a business, you should have a business credit card. It's probably easier to like keep all your expenses separated, but if you can't, then all of your transactions should be recorded once a month. And that way it's not overwhelming at the end of the year trying to figure out what receipt goes for what. And then you should sort your receipts by month in like a different folder or something.
AKA save your receipts first
Yeah.
to sort them.
Yeah. And like, because if you don't have your receipt and audit comes around, then you can't expense whatever it is that you claimed. And then you're losing money. So so once a month, do your bookkeeping. And by that, I mean like record all of your transactions and save your receipt, like organize your receipts every month and just make it easier. If you do it month to month, then you don't have a mountain of scariness at the end of the year.
This is why I want to get ahead on 2025 because I haven't been doing it month to month and I don't want it come April or February to be that mountain.
Yeah. And then like by January 1st, you're done for the whole year.
Okay.
Yeah.
These are good. This is really good. And I'm happy to say I'm doing those things other than the month-to-month situation.
Okay. Also save your GST.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. If you have a GST number, put that money away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because when they ask for it.
At the end of the year, they're going to ask for 30% and you're going to have to give it to them. And if you've spent it already, that's a hard pill to swallow.
How about the GST you spend?
Yeah, so that will, come out in the wash. But if you, not only just your GST, but also your taxes. And so like if you have that put away in like a high interest savings account, then it can still be like working for you and it won't be a surprise at the end. Your GST is like, it's like a balance, like because you spend it and you, whatever.
Yeah.
But for your taxes, if you put 30% away, then because you're going to have to pay it. But then after you expense everything, then you'll have like a little bit of savings at the end of the year.
Yes. I didn't even think about the geniusness of putting it in a high interest savings account.
Yeah.
So then you're having it work for you, gain you a little bit more.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. It's better than being negative at the end of the year. But you know what? I also understand that like when you're an artist and you get any money, you have to use it all because that's just where you're at. And if you come under the threshold of needing to pay taxes, then that's okay. But if you do have to pay taxes, then it really, really hurts. Yeah, because you're like, where am I going to come up with $3,000? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Thankfully, there's a payment plan for that.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do installments. There is interest involved, of course.
Brutal.
Of course there's interest. I mean, it's not as bad as like a credit card, 19%.
Yeah.
But it exists.
Yeah.
But they somehow make it manageable,
Interesting.
Yeah. You didn't know about that?
Yeah, I think I've heard about it, but I think it's like you have 3 months.
Yeah.
To pay it off.
Like anyone who's watching the stream right now who's in their 20s are like, oh man, I'm just going to toot out this talk. I don't want to face my taxes. I don't want to face this right now.
It's brutal.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to talking about Astro a bit more. I would love to know, what do you feel like you've seen as the impact on the neighborhood and the community since this place has come here? And we're in Mount Pleasant neighborhood, for anyone who doesn't know.
Yeah.
We're right on 4th Avenue and Columbia.
We're right by Olympic Village. Well, the impact for Astro, I'll speak on a personal level.
Yes,
for me, is like having the space here has allowed me to approach all of the different spaces that are around me. Like there's like an electrician store across the street. There's like Upcellera over here. There's like a matcha green tea place over here. There's like dance studio, like Culturally Defined over there. And like being able to be like, hey, I'm from Astro Club and like this is what we're doing. Like, what are you doing? And so being able to create like a broader community because we have the space there, for me, that has been very valuable. And for the community, like I see, for example, we have our barber, which he had never like had his own business as a barber before or a sense of that type of community. And I've really seen him grow and like light up because every day he gets to come here and he socializes with the same people. And now he's like, oh, maybe I can get into carving. And now he's carving like wood. And then he got into Japanese like ink printing or something, like water ink printing. And so he's like, oh, maybe I can make clothing. And so people are inspired when they're here by the other people that are here because everybody is creating. And so I think that's like a huge value for the community to be able to like take something that is usually very like insular, very like isolating because you're in your own brain creating your own things and just seeing people and people are great.
I can imagine that in a space like this that a lot of collaborations and also like unlikely collaborations just kind of form because of passing by each other or being able to build community within the same space.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you dream and hope for for this space come years down the road?
Like my 10-year plan.
You're like, I've got that.
I do.
5-year, 3-year.
Well, it all hinges on so many things. Like when I said dream big earlier, my big dream is to buy this building and to buy the building that Cielo's in and create an arts hub, but a multi-use. Because the problem it's not a problem, it's just capitalism. Yeah. But the challenge with having like an arts space is that it needs to be like supplemented in order to operate. Like we need to find operational funding somewhere. And only relying on public funding like the federal government or municipal government or whatever, it's not very sustainable either. And so when you bring in commercial like or mixed use, so like let's say this building is zoned for 6 stories. And right now it's only 2. And so like let's say we rebuild, we've got like 6 stories, right? Astro, top 2 floors. The rest of the floor is all like market commercial. Okay. And then that can supplement what we're doing up at the top 2 floors. And so that's just like, that is my dream.
business plan.
Because otherwise, as I said before, like if somebody else buys this building, then where do we go? Like what happens to all the work that we put in here with the community? Where do our people go? You know, where are the people from like the City Center Lodge going to go? Like they built a community out there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking about permanence and like solving that problem that we talked about before. We're losing art space. Okay, let's build permanent art space.
I love this idea.
Yeah.
And I could see so many other groups filling in the rest of those 4 other floors.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So when you say mixed use, do you mean like a coffee shop can exist, a retail shop can exist?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like it would need to be, because we have like Renewal Development, the development company that is here, they're like growing, expanding. And so maybe they would want to have a portion of a floor for their office. Like, yeah, that kind of thing. Maybe there's a restaurant, maybe there's retail, I don't know.
Dance studio.
Dance studio, absolutely. Yeah, culturally defined probably needs a place that's permanent, because right now their building will probably be torn down in the next 10 years. Like this entire block will change. It will change. And so we need to change with it or we will get left behind. And we can't let other people do the changes.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that it comes back down to that point you mentioned where it's like finding and building those relationships that are aligned.
Yes.
So like,
because I don't have millions and millions of dollars.
Right.
I need to find people who are interested in investing in what we want to build.
do you feel like you've been able to find some of those people, especially those who are developers that...
Luckily for us, we work with a lot of developers who have interest in the arts because they are commissioning us for murals. And so if we can cobble something together and we have like patrons, we have like, there's so much tech in the city. I don't know, there's a lot of opportunity. And we will probably need federal funding, but I think that there is a motivated system probably in the next 3 years to reinvest back into the arts.
That makes me feel hopeful, Steff.
Yeah, we got to make our own hope, right?
And like, you know, when you're talking about all this, I'm just like, well, what I dream of to exist within Van City, if we're talking about our dreams
Yeah,
here,
let's do it.
Clocking them in and stamping them in to this archive of 114 interviews. Sidebar, by the way.
Hey.
You are 114.
That's
crazy.
That's lucky.
Is a sound center, like a space with incredible sound system built in, dance floors that are going to protect our aging bodies and our knees, and that it's modular and can shift to not just like feed for or support dancers, but also like music artists that can also support like the wellness community and yoga and sound, but essentially a space that's really designed for like immaculate high fidelity sound and paired with the floor, like the floor experience for those who have a relationship with the floor, and that is like movement practitioners, that is dancers, etc., etc., and to really be put on the map, or to put Van City on the map for having a space like that. You know, like just coming back from New York City and Brooklyn especially, where they've like converted warehouse spaces and built hi-fi dance clubs with what they're calling a floating dance floor. Like, it just sounds gorgeous in there.
Yeah.
Or like this other space that I saw in Portland I have yet to visit called Mono Space, where, I just want to shout out the hi-fi dance club it's called Refuge, and that place is incredible. And then there's Mono Space in Portland where they're kind of positioning themselves more as like a sound gallery, where they value music as like living works of sound art, and therefore to be experienced in a space kind of like a gallery setting like that. So they have a really gorgeous hi-fi sound system, and they curate different people to come in and share like records or do listening events, but in this like
That sounds sick.
Yeah, but in this more like intentional and present listening kind of experience. Anyway, I have taken inspiration from all of these spaces that I've gotten to know, researched, or been to in real life. And like, I feel like Vancouver doesn't have that yet.
Not yet.
You know, not yet.
Not yet.
But we have a lot of incredible artists. Like, this is an idea that has been being talked over with a bunch of other people like IMI Sound and, you know, Raj from Haifa Arts, who are interested in like essentially finding what you just talked about, like a developer who is aligned and wants to support Vancouver being put on the map with like a world-class space like that.
Yeah.
You know, that people are going to want to like either perform in, do a residency, make music, hold dance events, do even like a yoga class or whatever.
Yeah.
But something like that.
Yeah.
You know? And who knows? Maybe we can all live in Astro.
Maybe it could be all here in the Arts District.
That's crazy.
Next time you go to one of those spaces, you said you're going to go to San Fran?
Like after this, you mean?
Like
Or-
to one of those like hi-fi like sound spaces or
Yeah.
like mono. Like you should ask them where the funding is coming from. Yeah.
And
I would
find
like
out.
to know. And it would be good for you to know so that's how we make things possible like that here.
I have a feeling with them, that one is more tapped into the arts since they're, or like public art funding because they're positioned as like a gallery kind of, you know? The other one, it's a club. So I don't know, that sounded more like they were able to gather funding privately from
I
people
see.
who are invested in club culture.
Right.
And, you know, I guess also just making money off of having a club. But yeah, that's always follow the money.
Follow the money.
It's a good question.
That's how we get stuff done.
Yeah. Wow. Dude, this is so good. Like, I love that we got, with CL today, we got to talk more on, like, the creative process side of an artist and her story.
Synesthesia.
Yeah. Synesthesia.
It's amazing.
Yeah. But it's also dope to also hear this side of things.
Yeah.
Which is a much needed conversation to happen.
Yeah.
You know, especially because some of us don't know how these things work. Don't
Yeah.
even realize how zoning within a city can impact
Oh, yeah.
so much of like what you can and cannot do.
Yep. Oh, yeah. CL and I are both sides of the same coin. Yeah.
You mean two different sides of the same coin or both sides?
Two sides, because a coin has two sides.
Right.
Of one coin.
Right. So
Whatever.
You're one side and they're the other side.
Yeah.
Okay. Two sides of one coin.
Yeah, we
There
got
you
it.
go.
We got there.
There you go. Well, just like CL, I have fun rapid fire questions for you.
Okay, I'm terrible at these, but let's go.
Did you check the interview earlier? Were you tuned in at all, or
No.
Okay, so you don't know what happened.
I was busy.
No, that's fine. You could watch the replay later of our hilarious rapid fire fun. That
With CL?
CL was like, "I'm not rapid fire,"
Oh man.
but you don't have to be super rapid fire. It's fine. First thing that comes to your head, don't overthink it. Okay.
Okay.
Hardest part of the job.
Hardest part of the job is getting people to read my emails. I laugh.
TLDR, but
Yeah.
still they won't read.
Yeah. Or they'll just read the subject line and nothing else, but everything that's important is inside the body of the email, and then I get questions anyway. And I'll be like, "Did you read my email?" And they'll be like, no. I'm like, "You should read my email."
That's what the subject line should say. Don't ask me. You
Read
should
the email.
read the email.
You'd think that'd be implied, but it's fine.
One word that kills creativity.
Money.
Ooh. Ooh. Let me think about that for a second. I don't. That's funny. I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah.
I feel like money can be a motivator, but that's an interesting one.
A motivator for your creativity?
In a way. Some people are motivated by that, right?
They can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a good answer. A skill artists should learn sooner.
Bookkeeping.
good. Go-to foods after a long, hard day.
Noodle soup.
Laksa?
Laksa. Yeah. We gotta go.
We gotta go.
We gotta go. We've been talking about this since 2022.
2022, fam.
For real.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
One thing you always over-prepare for.
I don't think I do.
You don't over-prepare for anything?
I don't.
No, as a producer, as a...
No.
Underprepared?
I don't know if I'm underprepared. I think, as an event producer, you just kind of take it as it comes. And I have a very systematic way of preparing for things. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure if over-preparation is the thing.
You're like, not necessary. That's inefficient.
Sometimes. Yeah.
What you're most proud of that people don't always see?
What am I most proud of? People don't see most of the work that I do, I would say. And that's kind of great, because if I'm not doing anything, I'm doing the work that, like, if I stop doing it, then people start to notice. But because no one is noticing, it means I'm doing it well. So I'm proud of that.
Ninja.
Operations.
Yeah, ninja operations. If Astro is the blueprint, what 3 values must always stay intact?
Community. Mm-hmm. Creativity. Mm-hmm. And good energy.
Hey, having fun.
Yeah.
Most exciting thing to you about public art in Van City right now?
That's a very timely question, seeing as public art was just cut from the City of Vancouver's budget. But
boo!
The most exciting thing is not knowing what is next and how things can change. We have a municipal election coming up next year. Please vote. Mm-hmm. And that could change the course of the creative landscape for the city. So that's exciting.
That is.
Yeah.
Ooh. I saw literally this light bulb is like on top of your head right now, Steff. And I just like, glimmer of hope right here.
Yes.
Last thing that inspired you.
Last thing that inspired me. Oh, I think honestly just speaking with you and seeing all the things, like all the people that you must connect with, even like you talking to that accountant and him being able to like reframe your life goals and I think that is inspiring. And like just having these like connections with people. I think that's what life is all about, honestly.
Totally.
Yeah.
I know that if I was gone tomorrow, I'd feel very fulfilled.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Aw. Last question.
Okay.
In 2026, my commitment to the Van City art scene is?
Giving it my all. Keeping it alive. And being hopeful for the future in very uncertain times.
This was such a great, inspiring convo. I'm so glad we sat down to do this, Steff.
Me too.
I appreciate all the business advice, bookkeeping advice, very practical advice, truly, that you've shared with us today, and also giving us a tour of Astro Club Artist Facility.
Yeah.
What do people need to know about what's coming up? Anything you want to plug right now about maybe something that might be going down here or maybe the next festival?
Yeah, next festival, we're going to be having it same time, second weekend of August. And it's our second year, and we're hoping that more people jump on board. They see the vision. Mm-hmm. Hopefully we're expanding more into East Van, and yeah, just stay tuned.
Okay, and where can people find y'all?
We have an Instagram, Astro Club Artist Facility, and we also have a website, astroarts.ca, and that will automatically link to our festival website, and that's where we are found.
I look forward to maybe a couple of years from now when we look back on this interview and we see what's transpired since then.
Yeah.
You know, and that this conversation has been locked in, clocked. And yeah, that some of these dreams and things we talked about have manifested.
Yeah, I hope so too.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again so much for making time, being here, sharing your story. Shout outs to everyone who's tuned in onto the live stream, watching the replay after. If you are a creative in Van City and feel like you've got a story to share or a really cool space that you want to give us a tour of, that you feel is contributing to the creative scene that I don't know about yet, please scan the QR code that you'll see popped up on the edit of this video. There's a form there that you can fill out, and you might be the one sitting next to me and maybe another lovely animal as well. Big shout outs to Twiggy.
Twiggy.
Yeah, and one more time, shout out to TELUS STORYHIVE for powering today's episode. And big shout outs to Jam and Cameron Josh, who's our live stream operator for today. My name is Kazi, and y'all have been watching StoryHive on location in Vancouver with Beats, Eats, and